Welcome to Effortless Conversations. I'm here with my co-star, Tammy. How are you, Tammy?
Very good. How are you?
Better than good.
Good.
Terrific. I thought what we talk about today is talk about the body and health. What do you think about that?
I think that's a very important topic. Without the physical body, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like our instrument, right? In this world,
That's
there's
right.
this body that's moving around, and this is what we use to experience, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, having life experiences with the body. And if the
We would
body's
have just
not,
stayed in non-physical
yeah.
otherwise.
It's
Yeah.
funny in my world, I talk to a lot of people, about the body, and there's some like in spirituality, there's different thinking on that. Like some people will say, "Oh, well, you're not the body. Like, how can you be the body? If you're aware of the body. We're this open, spacious awareness, and we're aware of the body, so we're not the body." Then we have some people in spirituality that I've noticed they totally disregard the body. They don't pay attention to it. They don't take care of it. They're like, I'm not the body, and they just or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're not
Yes.
paying attention to it. Then you have other people that realize, yeah, I'm aware of the body, but I'm so much more than the body, but I include the body. So I respect the body and I take care of the body and I take care of the health and I do health and fitness. It's not that I'm so obsessed with the body that I don't realize, that I'm the impersonal being that's whole and complete and that's healthy already. But I still realize I have like this body that's navigating the world and it's having life experiences. So therefore, I do a yoga class. I watch what I eat you know? So you have that side of it too. That's what I've been seeing out there in spirituality.
Well, a lot of times I think also a lot of the Christianity, it's kind of like the body is the sinful thing. And
Mm.
it's my mom used to, make comments about that, that the body's dirty and sinful. And so I think there's a disconnect there when you're spiritual. And also, you don't want to become vain. You don't want to be all superficial, because when you're spiritual, it's about the heart. So I think a lot of times people may misconstrue things and think that the body isn't important. But if you don't have your health, then you're not going to be here in the physical form. And part of, and also everything is spirit. The physical body comes from spirit. Everything comes from spirit when you really think about it. Abraham talks about that all the time. A lot of people think money also, you know, oh, you don't, money is not spiritual. You're greedy, when actually abundance of money is part of that. And money, everything that's here on earth, it comes from spirit. So when
Right.
you put it that way, and also our show is about marrying the two, of the effortless being and who we really are with the physical creation, that we're here to be creators in the physical form because it's fun to create with tangible things. So I think that for me, when I was in the academic world, you'll also see that I gained a lot of weight because I was super stressed out and I was so in my head that I
Sure.
forgot I even had a body. And then I was like overweight and unhealthy and I was miserable and my head was ruling everything. I was all stressed out and I was eating to try to, compensate for the stress. And of course, when you're stressed out, as Abraham always talks about, that our cells can't do what they need to do to find their balance to stay healthy. So that's when people's bodies start to, fall apart or become unhealthy, have unwanted weight, or illness starts taking over. So I really think that the balance that we're always talking about between the physical and the non-physical and being in alignment, and I noticed that when you come from effortless being and you feel in love with yourself and you appreciate your body, you want to take care of it, and exercise becomes really fun because you look at it as a way of self-care. you know um, when you first start, though, it can be really challenging because
Yeah.
we in I don't remember at the cruise when Andrew went up there and he talked about weightlifting.
Yeah,
He
that
and
was
I,
cool.
when we were on the cruise, he told me, he goes, I'm going to go up there. I'm going to ask about weightlifting. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Ask those questions. I do want to know because I had this theory about weight training that is opposite of the way we're taught that you need to go in there, you need to whip your body in shape, you need to go to exhaustion, and you need to rip your muscles so that they'll grow bigger, and no pain, no gain. And I remember doing that, and I was so proud of myself when I pushed myself to the limit, putting on rocky music, thinking I'm, hardcore and all that. But then I had a memory when I had to go back. I remember how painful it was, and I didn't want to go back and continue because it was freaking painful and it took forever to recover. And
Right.
when Andrew and I were talking, I said, I intuit that Abraham's going to probably say what they always say, that we just go and work out to the limit that feels challenging. We don't overdo it and do it where it's joyfully challenging, and do it gradually. And also, I played with it a while with the weight training because I was thinking, okay, I remember hearing them say that this athlete or somebody was in the Olympics, some runner or something, and they didn't sleep, and they were just in this high vibration, and they were aligned, and they didn't sleep for a week, and they won all, they just were giving it their best, and they won all these medals and everything. And I was thinking, oh, okay, if I'm aligned, does that mean I won't get tired? Because when you think about it, when you're aligned, you've got this unlimited energy because you're in the vortex and you're aligned. So I tried it out. I kept myself in a really, really good place for 1 week. And I could literally dance, do weight training. I could
Wow.
do
Yeah.
Pilates, I could do
Awesome.
yoga for a whole 7 days. And I wasn't even tired, and I felt no pain. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So when Andrew said he was going to go up and ask these questions,
You're
I was
excited.
super excited. Then when he got up there and he asked the questions, all the things that they said, I was super excited because I had intuited it. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm really getting this. So I gave him a big hug, and I even told him I loved him when we were done because I was so excited, you know. But Andrew was great, and he was asking all the right questions. But some people thought that Abraham didn't understand what he was saying. But after listening to the clip about 5 or 6 times,
Uh-huh.
I was thinking, oh my gosh, I think it's us that doesn't get it. And Andrew got it because I heard him says, okay, that does make sense. But what they were saying is that when you go to the gym and you're kill yourself to the point of exhaustion, then you have to have rest days because you overdid it, and the body needs to compensate for you not being in alignment and
Yeah.
taking your time easing into it. But if you just go to that challenging point and stop and just take your time and enjoy it and challenge yourself and ratchet back, and don't try to show off, don't do more than you that's uncomfortable to the point of uncomfortable, stop just there, that you can do it gradually, and you'll gain what the strides and the benefit, and you'll also have the body that you desire if you do it that way. So I was super, super excited about that because it is exactly in line with all their teachings. Because I was thinking to myself, heavy lifting, doesn't that seem like upstream? And the way they do it in the old school way, but now I think with everybody becoming a little bit more, becoming more conscious, we
Yeah.
can actually enjoy weight training. And I had my daughter-in-laws, and my daughter wanted me to help her with weight training. And I made an agreement with all of them. I said, I will help you and I will train you, but there's only one requirement that I have, is that you initially it's going to be challenging, but we don't go past our limits. But the key is, if you want to continue it, you've got to find a way to enjoy it. And guess what? They all enjoy it, and they crave doing it now
Love
because they're
that.
doing it in this new way. Yeah.
Yeah, joy is the key. I love what you said there because when you're
Yeah.
enjoying something and do it, it feels effortless, like in ease. And that's really what effortless being is about. When you're coming, we talk about marrying the two, like when you're remaining as, the infinite being or effortless being, it's kind of like you're following whatever ease comes to you, whatever fun and joy. So we can transfuse that, into the body, into working out at the gym, doing anything that feels fun. Like for me, I like what I've been into now is hot yoga. I really like hot yoga. It's like 100 degrees in there, and
Mm.
you're doing all these different poses, and you're sweating, and they're playing the music. And I'm like in the zone, and I'm doing the stretching. My body feels good. And as I'm doing it, I'm feeling all the stretches, and I'm feeling the aliveness come about. And so by the end of it, I'm just like, oh, it's just like you're
Yes,
releasing
and
everything. Yeah.
yeah, that's a mind body connection too. And it's funny
Mm.
because people usually think yoga is that way, which it is. And you're also building strength with your own body weight with
Sure,
yoga.
yeah. Hmm.
But I also think with weight training, a lot of people don't think of it that way, though, that it's about enjoying. it's more about brute force. But they talk about the fact that Abraham talks about the fact that you're using leverage and you're finding a way to enjoy the process, which is kind of a new idea for weightlifting because a lot of people don't think about it that way. And I also agree with you about the yoga. It just feels so good and it's effortless. And in the beginning, if you try to follow the teachers, oh my gosh, I tried rebounding for the first time.
Oh
And
my
this
God.
teacher's been doing it for many, many years. She went on that trampoline and she was like jumping and stuff. And I was just trying to stay on, and I said, baby steps. You don't have to follow where she is. She's more advanced. Just take your time. And I remember what Abraham was saying, take your time, take it easy, do it with joy. Don't worry about trying to keep up or watching what other people are doing. Just stay at your own pace. So I've been learning to allow myself to go at my own pace and know that I will get there. And it's about, when you remember it's about the joy, then you will do it. But when you want to look like the teacher, or you want to look cool, or you want to look like, you feel like you got to beat yourself into shape, then you're going to be led astray. And then that's when usually people quit because they don't see results, or it hurts and it just feels hard. But it's, again, if you're in the effortless being state, and enjoying it and knowing that you're eternal and that you're whole and complete and you love the way you are now and know that you're always expanding and you're going to continue to improve, there's no downside. And also, when I actually, because I did the rebounder, when I went on the treadmill was so easy because on the rebounder, NASA uses it, the little mini trampolines, and they say 10 minutes is equivalent to 30 minutes of running. So by doing the rebounder, I went to the gym and I was literally running on the treadmill, which I hate running, but I was able to build my stamina up to where it was enjoyable and I felt like a rock star.
Yeah, rock star.
you know?
Yeah, I love what you said
And I
about
put on my, my motivational music, Imagine Dragon, whatever it takes, all that
music's
fun,
a great
fun music.
motivator when
Oh
you're
yeah.
working
Oh,
out.
it's
Like,
so fun.
and just using emotional intelligence and our internal guidance system, our emotional guidance system, we all have that. We're talking about Abraham on the call. Those that don't know, basically all we're talking about is following your emotions. If it feels joyful, it feels easy, feels light, feels alive, feels juicy, we're telling you to follow that. So when it comes to like the body and exercising and workout, try different things. Follow what feels joyful to you, what feels like you're in the flow. That might be hot yoga, that might be weightlifting. Another thing that I found too for myself, my intuition was telling me, I went and I took this group fitness class. It's like these Les Mills classes, and they have this one called like a body pump class. And so you have the weights and they play it to like high energy music, and then they have the instructor on the stage and they'll do each of the body parts. And as you're pumping, you'll be doing the biceps, triceps, backs, lats, legs, all that kind of stuff. And they do
Is
like
that
each
the
body
hit
part.
classes?
Yeah, it's like
Is
there's
it the
yeah, it's
hit
like
classes?
yeah, the hit
Yeah,
classes. Yeah, those are
yeah.
really good. Like I found those to be
We
fun too.
also, yeah, we have that Pilates in our Pilates studio. We
Yeah.
have the rebounder classes with weights, and we have the kettle classes and the
Yeah, the
hit classes.
kettlebell. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, and to me, when you start at first, it's a little challenging and you got to slow down. But once you build that momentum and then you're able to do it with ease, it is just exhilarating. Again, easing into it. Isn't it exciting though? Because you're getting the weight training, you get the cardiovascular, your
Right.
heart pumping, and also it's a form of meditation to me. I don't know if it
Sure.
is for you
Yeah,
because you're
absolutely. Because you're
so
getting in the
focused.
zone. You're in the zone.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're so focused on what you're doing.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you're in that
also if
zone.
you focus on your breathing, it keeps you in the now, and then
Yes.
you're you just really start to see how wonderful and how strong and how intelligent every cell in your body is. And you just start appreciating, the beauty of the body. I'm just amazed that I can dance for 8 hours nonstop in a week if I keep myself happy. And then you're drawn to nutrition, right? When
Yeah.
you take care of yourself that way, you
Goes hand in
crave
hand. Yeah.
foods.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
healthy
sometimes like
foods.
after the class on the way, prior to that, like if I'm driving around, oh, there's McDonald's, so I'm gonna get a Big Mac. But if if I was driving around like after my hot yoga class or my Les Mills body pump class, then you're like, you don't really crave that as much. Like, no, I'll go home and have like my salad with chicken in it, or I'll have a protein shake, some fresh fruit. So like by working out, it's like it encourages you to want to eat better and to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I find really interesting is that we make such a big deal about food.
Yeah.
And I've had so many challenges through the years, and I used food to soothe when I had young kids and I was going to school and we were poor, we didn't have money, and
Right.
I would just use food to try to treat myself. And I
Right.
think our culture does that a lot too. And I realized that, there are no bad foods. They're all good foods. And if you make peace with food and you understand that your body, if you get out of the way, like Abraham says, that we can eat whatever and our body will metabolize it, but you have to believe it first. So you take baby steps in trying new foods. But I have noticed that's where I think you can marry the knowledge of healthy foods. Like as a dancer, we're athletes and we need, when I'm training for 8 hours a day, if I don't eat, I get depleted and I get hangry. It's not pretty. So I've educated myself on the nutritional foods for me, and I've tried different things, and I found that I need more protein in the morning. I can't just have carbs because
Right.
I just feel gross. So everyone's different. What works for me isn't going to work for somebody else. And also,
Intuition.
you kind of have to balance out how much you're working out. And Abraham says that we've got an intuitive system if we trust it, that we can go within and trust our hunger. So maybe you do go to HIIT class and you craving so much, a
Yeah.
quarter pounder at
Yeah.
McDonald's,
There's no
then
general
go
rule.
get
It's
it.
just follow
Yeah,
your intuition. Your intuition.
exactly.
Everyone
Yeah.
has that internal guidance system. So we follow that. And it's been leading us perfectly this whole time. And it will continue to do that for
But I
us.
do want to say with the sugar, for instance, and this is another thing that I think sometimes when you get you get into your mind for long periods of time and you have a lot of stress, I
Hmm.
was using sugar, lots of sugar, just
Mm.
candy, cakes, sweets. And that was my go-to, if you want to call it an addiction or whatever. And, um, and I remember them saying, "Oh, listen to your body; it knows what it wants." Well, my body just wanted more sugar, and then so I'm like, okay, I can't really trust my body because it's saying this. And then I heard Abraham one time saying, your body is so intelligent that when you take in a substance, whether it's alcohol or sugar or whatever it may be, your body is so intelligent, it will adapt to that.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
you start getting cravings for it.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what happened. My body's wanting it because it's adapted. And they said that if we take 3 days to abstain from whatever you're addicted to or whatever substance like sugar, it'll clear out of your system and the physical cravings will stop. And so what I do during the holidays, if I get carried away and I do too much sugar or whatever, I just take 3 days off of it, wean myself off of it, and then I get back on track. So, and then I can start following my impulses and trusting my impulses. So again, I feel like with even fitness in every area of our life, it's a balance between, understanding things and also the intuition, because the body is so adaptable that if you just listen, it's kind of like being in alignment, and then that's the key, right? If you're in alignment, you're not going to be craving junk. You're going to feel whole. So you're not going to grab that food, that whether it's a fatty food that you crave or a sugar, you're doing that because you're self-soothing with it. But if you go within and you get into the effortless state or you meditate or then and you feel good, you're less likely to crave that and try to soothe yourself with food, substance, or whatever.
Yeah. I think really.
So I don't know yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say emotional intelligence is what keeps coming up for me as you're talking. Just having that emotional intelligence, like listening to our emotions, that are guiding us. If we feel like we're really craving something, maybe that's something the body wants. Or maybe, like you said, like if you're being unbalanced with it, you'll kind of know because your intuition will kick in and the emotions will come up. So we don't really push those emotions away. We welcome them and we see what kind of message is it sending here to me. So we pay
You know what
attention
I
to it
yeah.
and we let it
You know what
guide
I do
us.
is if I crave sugar, I'll say, okay, how am I feeling right now? And if I'm
Yeah.
super happy and I'm in a good place, then
Yeah.
I'll have it. And
Yeah.
if I'm really depressed and I'm down, I'm like, okay, I'm
Nah.
off right now. And I sometimes still choose to eat it and say, okay, whatever, I don't care. I'm now ready. I'm going to eat it anyway. But at least I
Then don't
know.
be so hard on yourself.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just
Not the end
know.
of the
And then
world.
I know I can always get back on track.
Yeah.
So it's you can't
All's
lose.
well.
So it's kind
Yeah.
of like, yeah, easing into it and accepting your emotions and knowing you're off in the moment. And if you're eating it, oh well, I remember being so strict with myself and being so hard on myself, which made me want to eat more. and as soon as you tell yourself you can't have it, you want it more. You know how that goes.
Yeah, well, yeah. I always want what I can't have, the naughty
Maybe
Rob.
we should say, oh, I don't want salad. No, I don't want salad.
Yeah, do reverse psychology. No, I was telling my wife that the other day. Like we kept making salads, and I was like, I don't want salads for lunch. She's like, but you always like salads for lunch. She's like, I'm bored with it. Give me like a
Yeah,
turkey
yeah.
sandwich or something. Like so, we
And
mixed
sometimes
it
your
up.
body, it's
Yeah,
funny how people think that salad's the diet food when if your body's not hungry for it, it
yeah,
wants more. And you can't really sustain a healthy diet on just salad alone,
yeah. The
And
body's very
I
intelligent.
remember doing that too, huh?
I said the body's very intelligent.
Oh, it is. But I think it takes a minute when, you've been in so many loops and you've been out of alignment and, you're stressed out and then that cycle of beating yourself up and, not being kind to yourself because you feel like you failed because you didn't stay on your program or whatever.
You beat
And I
yourself
think
up.
that, yeah, you do. And it's a vicious cycle, but your emotions are your guide as you're talking about emotional
Yeah,
intelligence,
emotional intelligence is key.
yeah, when you consistently are feeling bad, then you ask yourself, okay, I'm off right now, and just soothe yourself. And
Yeah,
maybe
and a
you're
lot
not
of it is just
feeling
like what
right
thoughts are
now.
you believing right now? Because a lot of it has
Hmm.
to do with our beliefs. Like, what is it that I believe about myself? Or what is it that I'm believing right now that I'm in this low mood or I'm craving this sugar or I gotta have, this food. Like what am I feeling right now? Like what thoughts are going through my head? What are my beliefs? And a lot of it is like these people can go on all these different, I see it all the time. They go on all these diets, do all these things, but they don't get to the root of it. The root of it is really your beliefs is what's driving a lot of this. Like maybe they have like low self-worth or something happened when they were a kid and they don't even realize it. It could be running subconsciously. Like they're not conscious of it, but
Yeah.
it's showing out in the 3D or in the manifestation. So you can use it's like a mirror out here. So if you're seeing that out there, it's just always good just to pause and just check, like what am I believing right now that I'm making this particular choice? What is it that I have to
Well, let's,
believe to
let's
make
let's
this
give a good
choice?
example, a
Yeah,
scenario. We go to
yeah,
the gym, or I go to my Pilates class, and I
yeah,
see this person who's been doing it for 20 years, and she
yeah.
does it effortlessly, and I'm sweating, feeling like a pig on the thing, and I'm almost fell off the reformer, and I'm feeling, and then all of a sudden I just feel like I'm not good at it, and the mind just starts, like a domino effect. I start
Yeah,
thinking, oh my gosh, I probably look like a fool. They probably don't think and you just go down that road and then it hits you. You don't even know you're thinking these thoughts. And all
yeah,
of a sudden you leave and you feel like, you don't feel good. And then you crave some junk. And then I'll say to myself, okay, what's going on?
yeah,
You can have it if you really want it, but, being kind to myself, what's going on?
yeah. Love
Why
that.
are you feeling that way? And then I will literally soothe myself and say, it's okay, sweetie. She's been doing it for 20 years.
Oh,
And, it takes time and
show
we're not
compassion to yourself. Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Yeah. And just soothing yourself. And you're the only one that knows what's going to soothe you. That's what's
yeah,
cool about self care.
yeah.
Because with other people, we don't know because we're
No
not in their
clue.
mind, but we
Yeah,
know what soothes us. And so what I'll do is when I go down that road, because there's a lot of fit, beautiful people that go to Pilates, and on a good day,
hot
and
yoga
I'm
too.
focused on myself and I feel like I'm in the zone, no problem. But on days where I feel frumpy and I'm not feeling good, I go in there. My mind could go on a field day and go down a road. And when I feel off, I notice it. And then if I'm wanting sugar, sometimes I don't notice until I want junk,
Yeah,
and I'll go, okay, what's going on? And sometimes I am in a happy place and I am craving, like maybe an In-N-Out burger because I just had an intense workout and my muscles are craving it, the protein. So again, I get hangry very easily because I'm very active. So I always bring like nuts and fruits and stuff in the car so that I can eat a little bit so that I don't get so depleted that I get angry and then I overeat. So
of
there's certain things that you learn about yourself as you go.
yeah,
It's not this is just develops through time, just like your weight training. I didn't start out, doing 8 hours of dancing. I started out with one ballet class a week, and then it became two. Then I discovered Pilates, and that started off as 2 times a week, and then it became 5 days a week. And then I did weight training, and then I thought, okay, I need more strength. And then I noticed that I was winded when I tried to run because my cardiovascular, so I started doing HIIT. I started doing the rebounder. And what I'm learning now to do as I'm doing this more and more is listening to my body instead of making a set schedule 5 days a week. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I do that, but then I give myself flexibility. Like I was supposed to go to the gym today, but because I worked a little harder, because I got old grooves of banging it out, I'm sore still. So I took the day off and I'm going to
Listen to
go
your body.
tomorrow.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
What'd
And
you have for
I'm
breakfast,
loving
Tammi?
that yes. What?
What'd you have
What'd
for
you say?
breakfast? What'd you have
What
for
I had?
breakfast? The
Oh, I
audience
had an
wants to know.
omelet.
They're
Yeah,
clipping
I
in
had
right now.
an
They
omelet.
want to know what you had for breakfast.
Yeah. But that's what's great though, is when you start to understand yourself and
Yeah.
you really know it's just a self-love and you're figuring out and what you need today is not necessarily what you're going to need tomorrow. That's what's beautiful about it. You're
Mhm.
constantly fluxing and you're always changing. And I feel like as we learn how to effortless be and really give ourselves permission for self-care and being kind to ourselves, then it gets really, really delightful. It's like, you know yourself really, really well, whether it's through fitness or food or
I love that you said
whatever it
that
may be.
because, knowing yourself, and that's kind of like where it starts is like, what is like a lot when I do my mentorships and stuff with people, what I noticed like where they make their changes, it's usually on an identity level. Usually, they have some kind of thing that they're identifying with. Maybe they're saying,
Mhm.
I suck at exercise, or I never eat right, or I'm fat and I can never lose weight. Like they have like these underlying beliefs and identities, like they view themselves in these different identities. So if you can, look at that and realize what am I identifying with that's causing this kind of behavior, and if you could see that, then you can kind of let it
Yeah,
go because you're not going to continue to have that identities. But from effortless being, when if you're looking at it from your being, from the beingness, and you ask yourself that question, it'll come up and present itself to you, and then you can see it, then you can clear it out, and then
you
kind of
know,
just shift that identity, let go of that
you're
identity.
yeah, you're exactly right because I went through. I probably had size 8 all the way to size 30 in my closet through the years. Okay, and I when I look at that, and I was trying to create the ideal body from outside the vortex where I was not aligned with who I was. I was trying to fit the pictures in the book, so to speak, and I was trying to be like a model. And it wasn't coming from the inside out, like what you're
Yes.
talking about, from the
Identity.
effortless being.
Yeah.
And I was identifying with the character of wanting to have
Yes.
this ideal life and be
That's
this.
it.
And I went to the gym and I was brutal and I wanted
Remember.
results. And I slipped 2 discs in my back
See?
trying to get buns of steel.
Yeah.
And now, you know, and now I
Wait,
look
wait, wait,
back and I'm
wait,
like,
Tammi, do
at the
one of
fact
these.
that
Let me see. Do one of these. Do
yeah.
a flex. Come
There
on,
you
let me see.
go.
See? Look
Look
at
at those muscles.
that.
But what I'm saying is that I know what it's like to get into that loop of trying to make something happen from a place of lack. This is again the same thing. And I didn't see I was doing it. But once you start feeling love for yourself and knowing you're timeless and you're eternal and it's
You're
all good,
whole,
it
you're
just becomes
complete, you're
fun.
effortless being, yeah.
Yes.
You
Yes.
feel that inner conviction, you know what you truly are. Those other identities melt away, and then intuition takes over, emotional intelligence takes over, and then
Yes.
it doesn't become so hard and striving. It's just more like
Yeah.
a
And,
playful
and you
fun.
know why? Yeah, and a lot of people don't like exercise because you know what happened to me? When we were
What?
in high school, PE, we wouldn't be running and they'd have us run a mile and then you're dead the next day
Yeah.
and you hate running. That's why, because we're thrown into things instead of just easing into things.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why a lot of people, they've had painful experiences and they have a memory, so they don't want to go back. And I had to retrain myself and take baby steps, little baby steps. The first time I did a plie and the beginner ballet, I thought I was going to freaking die. Now it's not a problem because I eased into it and you get used to it. So I think that this whole idea that going from A to Z is what stops people too. you
Yeah,
know.
it's funny you say that because a lot of times in my YouTube feed, or in my social media feeds, what's been coming up is there's this guy that comes on there, and they have different guys and girls that'll come on for advertisements, and they'll come on and say, "Are you over 50? Try Tai Chi walking, to do fast. It's better on your joints than having to go." And like every day, I'm getting like these messages, and so they'll keep saying because that makes it fun, so it could be different things, and the marketing seems to be working because they're doing really well with that particular product that they're putting
Well,
out
that's
there.
cool.
Yeah,
I think that's great for people to find. And also with the rebounder, with people because of joint problems, now people
yeah, it's
have a way
perfect
to
for that.
work out that doesn't
Yeah.
hurt their joints.
There's
But
so
I
many
do this.
solutions out there. Yeah.
Yes, but this brings me to another topic that I really struggled with for a long time. As you move through time, from the day we're conceived, we're aging, right?
Okay.
And as you get past, you get all these feeds in your, on social media. Oh, after 40 or after 30 or after 40, after 50, and I remember taking a ballet class when I took beginner's ballet. And because we were older, and they said that we could never be on point because you need to be trained as a child. And we were told, and they started bringing out the TheraBands, and they were telling us that we could fall and break our leg or our hip and all this. And it became all about avoiding injury, and none of it was ballet. And I was like, oh my gosh. And also, it's funny how there's like ageism, whatever you want to call it. It's almost like people believe that after a certain age, you're going to decline because so many people do.
Yeah. Well, it's the
And
belief. It's the
that has
belief.
been a theme.
Yeah,
It
it's
is a
ingrained.
belief
It's
that
conditioning.
people don't question it though.
Yeah, that's what I've been
It
trying to
is
say. You got to
conditioning.
question
So
it.
you
Yeah,
see all
it's an
these
identity.
medical things. If you're over 50, you can get shingles, or if you're over 40 or
And
whatever the
then
number may
if you
be.
believe it,
And
it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe it and you identify with
And
it,
the thing is, you're
it's going to
right, but it
happen.
is so prevalent and it's
Yeah.
so steep that people don't even see that they're
Yeah.
believing. There's even, I
Wake up,
remember
everybody.
ballroom
We're
dancing.
exposing it all. Wake up. Drop those identities. We've exposed it
I
right
was
here
ballroom
live on Effortless
dancing.
Conversations.
I was ballroom dancing one time, and this lady was wearing this slinky, beautiful
Wow.
red
Wow.
sequin dress. And she was an older lady. And somebody said she has no business wearing that at her age. And I looked over at him and I said,
Cares what
"Excuse
people
me, I
think.
didn't know there was a dress code.
Yeah.
Is there a dress code? Because I wasn't aware. And I find it interesting. And even I fall into it. I'm not judging other people. It's just all over. And I've had to question it for myself. I
It's
wanted to be on
conditioning.
point in ballet, which is very intense training. And when they told me I couldn't do it, the stubborn part of me says, "Oh, yeah, you're telling me I can't do it? Well, I'm not a child. I'll
Yeah, I
figure
don't
it
care what
out."
people think.
I
I don't know.
found
I
a
just feel like
I
I've had
found
the
a place that
realization,
allowed
I just don't care what people think anymore. I just get that
it.
realization, because I have to be true to myself. Everyone can have their opinions. Opinions are I can't say it on here, can
Yeah, I get you. But you
I?
know
Yeah.
what? What I'm trying to say here, though, is you're right. But when you have a master teacher, an expert in the field telling you that, it's a little harder not
Yeah,
to
because
buy
you're viewing
in.
them as a higher authority.
Yes, they're your mentor, they're your
Yeah.
teacher. They know everything, and you're totally new to the world.
Yeah.
So, but then I ended up finding a place where I could learn it. But the example that I'm making about aging is Abraham also says, which I don't know what you think about this, but this is pretty far out there, okay? But it's pretty awesome, and I want to believe it. I'm working on believing it. Is that we can pick any age that we want to be at. What age, like if you like the way you looked when you were 20, 30, or 40, or whatever age it is, that you can actually put it out there to the universal manager, be clear that you want to look like that, and your body will morph to that vision if you stay true to it and you stay in
Love
alignment.
that belief. I love
Think
that.
about it.
Yeah,
So if
because
you feel like you're in your
yeah, if I
prime
feel
at
like I'm in my
30,
20s, yeah, I could look like I'm 20. Yeah, I see what you're saying,
but
but
do you really want to look like you're 20?
I don't
Because
know.
I was thinking it'd be kind of a pain to have, somebody thinking you're 20 years old all the time, right?
That's true. Yeah, it's all a matter of perspective. But the truth
It's
is,
true.
we're all remaining as the pristine infinite being, like from effortless being
Mhm.
perspective, we're all,
Yeah.
the impersonal beingness. But we're in this human experience, and we have these bodies that we're using. So that's why for the audience out there, that's why we're talking about the body. So we want to take care of it so that we can be vibrant and have, these nice life experiences, because the body's here for a reason. I love the illustration that people use too. Like, we have a car, we use the car to drive around. We're not the car, but we're the one that's driving the car, so to speak. But we still take care of the car. We still take it to the mechanic. We still get the oil change. So that's all we're saying here is like going to the gym, eating, what your body's telling you feels good in your body as you're eating it, rather than feeling yucky when you're eating it, listening to emotional intelligence, because we're basically taking the wisdom that we have as being the effortless being, and we're just allowing the flow to come through, and it comes through naturally and effortlessly because everything's registering directly in the infinite being.
Yeah, and the reason I bring it up, all these human aspects of the physical body, is because it's part of our creating as spirits,
Yeah,
consciousness.
we're here
to
we're
create.
here having the human
That's
experience,
why
right?
we
We're
think.
here.
Yeah, we're
Make
here.
the best of it. Have some
And
fun with
the
the
thing is,
experience.
yeah, and if you're an effortless being and you know who you really are, that you're part of this eternal, you can have a lot of fun, and you realize whether you make it or not, it's no big deal because you're more than this body. But it
Yes,
is
there it is.
certainly fun when your
It is
body
fun.
starts to morph to the image that you have of it.
Yeah,
It's
you're meant to
pretty
feel
cool.
good, feel vibrant and alive. So yeah,
Yeah,
use your
yeah,
body to do that, to have those beautiful life experiences. That's all we're saying here.
yeah.
Is take care of your body so that you can have fun and do things that make you feel alive, and feel
Well,
good.
the thing about it is, yeah, and to me, think about it, if we're creators, we came here to create.
Yes, we
What
did.
better way to create than your own image and your own idea and your own way
Yeah.
of being,
Yeah, and that's why it's
physically?
self-care is so important. Like we talk about the
Yes.
body, prioritize your self-care. You deserve to go get a massage. You deserve to have a membership at, the yoga class. You deserve to have a gym membership, or you deserve to take that walk out in nature in the morning. You know, Whatever your thing is, you want to do your your over 50 Tai Chi walk.
Yeah, but even the number, see, that brings another point to me, is the whole thing where we're categorized by age,
Yeah.
instead of just, it's kind of like, I went through a phase where I was a feminist, and one day I woke up and I realized, wow, by me calling myself a feminist, I've separated myself from other humans. And even with the age thing, when you separate people by age rather than by their skill set or wherever they are, again, we're
Yeah.
putting limitations, like after a certain age, all of a sudden you're going to be declining. So those are kind of big concepts that we can question with our thoughts in our
Sure.
creation business.
Yeah.
We're effortless beings. We're pristine and perfect as we are, but
And we
as
can
creators,
we can see other people that way too. Like when I look at
yes,
you, or
yes,
I'm not
yes.
looking at your body type or your personality, but I see you as the pristine, infinite being that's whole and complete and that's healthy. Like I see you that way. I'm not saying like, oh, you're 50, you're 60, you're 7. I'm not judge. That's what the mind
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
It
I'm
likes
not
to
saying you,
judge.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about
Yeah, I'm
society
saying
as a
people in general,
whole.
like
Yeah,
people that like on this
yeah.
channel that have awakened to their true nature, they realize that, when they're looking at people, they see them, as whole and complete. But yet we are having the human experience, and in the world today, people do that. Like the mind does that. It'll separate, like, oh, you're over 50 here, or you're 40 here, and it makes judgments and stuff like that.
Well, that's natural because that's kind of
Part of the
how
human
we
nature.
sort
Yeah.
out our world, how we
Yeah.
try to figure out our world. But when it comes to a joyous existence
Yeah.
as a human through the effortless being,
Hmm.
being purposeful about, and the fact that we get to choose, kind of like the style of clothing we get to choose. It's fun.
You
The
like my
kind of
blue
body
today?
you want to have, it's fun.
You like
Yeah,
my
it's
blue?
fun.
How about my
Yeah.
effortless conversations up top? I was feeling creative and artistic. I got this new
Add
light.
some color to it, huh?
I got some light. I am the light. I get some light so people can see me.
Yeah. I know we both invested in lights too. See, that's part of the fun. We didn't have to have it. We're whole and complete, right?
Yeah,
But it's
but
fun to make it look brighter. It's fun to add, flavor to it. That's why I
my
believe we.
favorite videos are, Tammy, when I'm like walking out in the nature in the woods and I have my iPhone up and I'm just talking to the camera, making a video
Mhm.
out in like I have to mix it up too. It's
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, I know.
And then
And
I'm
that's
getting
the
my
thing.
exercise in. We're talking about the body, so I'm walking. I'm making the video, like I'm killing two birds with five stones or whatever they call. I'm having fun, like making the video, and I'm getting my walk in and my health.
And it's effortless when you think about it, because when you're in the zone, you're just doing it and you're not
Yeah,
even
I never
thinking, oh, I'm getting
realized.
my
Yeah,
walk in, oh, I'm doing this, I'm
yeah.
doing
I'm just
that. You
thinking
just
about it after the
enjoy.
fact now. Like, wow, I
Yeah.
do that. I do what she's done.
Yeah. And I find that, living in the world, that's where, for me, I told you before that I was just effortless being and I didn't know how to function. And then when I
Mm,
realized, wow, I can create the character I want to be,
love
all
that.
the way down to the way I look, the
Mm.
way I move, what I do, how I respond, what I
That's
think,
empowering,
all of that.
so empowering
It
for people to
is.
know
It
that you
is.
can program the character how you want it. You can consciously create your reality and make the character how you want it. You can make it healthy, you can make it muscular, you can make it vibrant, you can make it alive, you can make it a funny character, joyful, the world traveler
And
character,
you know what's
whatever you
really,
want.
I know, I love it because not everybody wants the same thing. And that's what makes
No.
it so diverse and so beautiful. It's funny because the ideal body of a woman was a Barbie and slender when I was growing up. And now it's like there are some people that want beefy, big muscles,
Yeah. When I talk
and
to
they're
my
just
buddies, like
all shapes and sizes.
if you ask my buddies about girls, they'll tell you like something like, "Oh, I like a girl, that's more busty." Or no one's I like a girl with nicer, or I like a girl that's more petite, or like they're all over the place. So it's like
Wonderful. It's
we're not all the
wonderful,
same. We're not all the
diversity.
same. Yeah. Diversity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's wonderful that we get to choose. And that's part of the fun of being here,
Yeah, it's
the
like being
joy
on
of it. And
the
that's
it's
what
like
makes
being on
the
the
aliveness.
buffet, the food buffet, and you get to scoop
Yeah,
out which ones you want. But everything's
exactly.
available, but you get to decide which one do I want to give my attention to? Which one do I want to choose? Which
Yeah.
one do I want to play with? To me, it's just like a playground. We can play with it like we're talking about, play with the different gym classes or the different exercises, the walking or the food. It's like we have all these choices. It's such an abundance
Yeah.
that
And
we have.
some people may not want, they just walk and they're not interested. And that's
Yeah, that's
okay
fine.
too.
Yeah,
So
of
it's
course.
not that yeah. And also with food, Abraham was saying there are people that just eat junk food in certain parts of the world that are thriving because they don't know
Yeah.
any different and they don't judge it,
And they believe
you
it's
know?
okay. Yeah, I remember her
They
saying that on
do.
one of
And
the
I'm
hot
like,
seats
wow,
she
that's
had.
so
Somebody went up there and
liberating.
was like, she was like, well, you could just, eat a Sunday, and if you really believe in your body that that's good for you, you won't you won't harm you.
Yeah. Did you hear about the Catholic woman that just had one of those little wafers that, they give out at church? She had only one of those a day and she survived off of that.
That's
So
awesome.
that's another example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
A lot of
again,
it's
it's
your
all about
beliefs and your
belief.
identity. Yeah.
It is really about your beliefs. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that we get to, watch our thoughts and catch our thoughts and see what beliefs are serving us and embrace them, and see beliefs that aren't serving us and change them if we want. And
Yeah.
also learning how to do it in a kind way rather than beating ourselves up to get somewhere, because when you're in the whole effortless being part, there's no hurry. You're just doing
Yeah,
it for
it
fun
happens.
and
It
joy.
unfolds naturally.
Yes.
There's such a relaxation in knowing that I don't have to analyze every single thought that comes. I don't have to sit here and worry
Yeah.
about, oh, this thought or that thought. Once you've identified, you realize what you truly are is the pristine infinite being. You have that. It just kind of unfolds naturally because then all you're really doing is just following the ease of it, the joy of it, without resistance. If you find that you're
Within
resisting and stuff, then
That's when
it
you
wakes you
check
up.
in.
Yeah, it's like a red flag.
Yes.
Wait a second. What am I? Then you go into that. Oh, what am
Yes.
I?
That's when
But
you check
generally, you
in
could
and you
just be in
start
the
asking.
flow. Yeah, generally, you don't
Yeah.
have to sit there. I don't want people to think, oh, you got to analyze it, because there's a lot of teachers out there. A lot of people are saying, oh, you got to watch your thoughts and you got to analyze
No,
it.
no, that's too much work. That's where
Yeah,
emotional
that's
guidance
not effortless
system comes
being.
in.
You
Yeah. Well,
function
that's the
effortless being. It's just
emotional
more of a
guidance will
flow.
alert you, right?
Yeah,
So when you feel off, oh, okay, I'm thinking
yeah.
something. That's when you
Emotional
go to your
intelligence.
thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
love that.
I think I've never heard it called emotional intelligence. I remember psychologists bringing that up, but
I don't know where I got that
that
from. It
is a
just kind of came
good
up.
way of saying it.
I
That is
just
a
always
good
think
way.
I think your emotions that you have are intelligent. I think some people try to push away some of the more negative emotions because they don't want to feel them. But what I'm saying is those feelings are just as welcome because they're telling you something. You don't want to
Remember,
you want to acknowledge them because it's giving you information,
yeah, do you remember when Abraham says that you want your fingers to feel the hot stove? That's what your
Love
emotions
that.
are doing, because you don't want to have
Yeah.
your
You'll be
fingers
numb to it.
burn.
You're sitting there
Yeah,
burning.
because you didn't feel it.
then you can do something about it, right? It's giving you information. It's waking you
Yeah.
up to say,
So
hey, what do you believe in? That's not true about yourself, or
again, this is where being effortless being, but then when you get off track and your emotions are feeling off, then you can go in, check your thoughts. That's why you don't have to micromanage everything, which is so
yeah, that's
wonderful.
exhausting. It's
Yeah,
such a
it
relief to
is. It
know you
is.
don't have to do that. Oh,
I know. It's so nice.
what a
And when you,
relief.
I think the totality of understanding the creation from wholeness, that's what makes this amazing, just to be able to play with all of this. And Abraham also says that everybody always thinks that the non-physical is way better than being on earth. And they're saying, no, the combination of it,
Yeah,
this
'cause
is
they
the
love
leading
playing
edge.
here too. Yeah,
This is the leading edge,
love
which,
that.
we would have stayed in non-physical if we didn't want to be creators, right?
Yeah, that's so true. We came
Yeah,
here
we
to
do the
play.
dirty work though. We feel the
We
negative
came here to
emotion.
enjoy life and play with these bodies and have experiences.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun,
But I
but
love
they
what you said about mind and body connection, because you really, because like that's kind of like what we're talking about. Because like if you're believing
yep,
these limited thoughts, it's affecting your body. It's
yep.
affecting your reality.
That's,
So it's like checking
that's
your
where
identity
illness
and
comes
your
from.
thoughts.
That's where
Yeah,
illness
you can
comes
talk
from.
yourself into an illness if you believe it. What you
Well,
give your
the
attention to it.
dis-ease is disease, not being at ease, dis-ease.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
love talking
really,
about like health and fitness because that kind of makes you feel alive. It makes you feel joyful. It's almost like you get into that vibration, that signature vibration of that. It's like those other thoughts aren't coming in because if you're just thinking about like even Abraham says that, you want to talk about Abraham, always saying about like if you're in that mode where you're just focused on things that you want, the things that you don't, you can't think about what you don't want, what you want at the same time. So you might as well think about what you want,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. And also when you're thinking about exercising too and being physical, there's also, your physiological body chemicals that are helping as well. So you've not only got your spirit, you're feeling good, but you're getting an extra, endorphin kick or body. It's all working together, which is so beautiful. And
Yeah,
again, the body is spirit. We're
yeah,
all one,
yeah.
and I
Everything's
think
made
that we
of
separate.
consciousness. Everything's
It
made
is.
of beingness.
But
It's just
identifying with it,
guys.
I get. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to identify and think that's all you are and try
Yeah.
to
No, you're
feed
so
into
much more than
definition.
that. You're
Yeah.
not limited to just the body. Because I
Mm-hmm.
just feel like the world's got it inverted. It goes from the body and then it goes up. But if you start with, oh, I'm the pristine infinite being, and then you let that trickle into the other bodies, into the emotional
Mm-hmm.
body, the mental body, the bliss body, and the physical body. It just has
Yeah.
a nice flow to it.
And I also feel that when you're an effortless being, you're in a relaxed state and your cells can do their job to keep you at your
There
pristine
you go.
place.
Yeah.
And you
You're not
don't need to
interfering with it. Yeah.
we don't need to bang it into place or to do anything. It will just be guided to what feels good and it'll unfold from
I
there.
believe that even your emotional intelligence is higher than even what a doctor could tell you. I mean, everybody follow your
Oh,
doctors, do
yes,
what you want, but
definitely.
almost don't give your sovereignty away to another authority. Like always listen to your body first, your emotional intelligence. What is it telling you? Ask yourself that and really feel into that, not just in the mental level, really embody it, like feel it in the body. Like what is that gut feeling? What am I really feeling in my heart? Like what do I really know? You know?
Mhm.
Of course, and then maybe it reveals, oh, go to this doctor, or maybe it reveals, well, that's just not the way to go right now. Maybe you just need to pause and wait. You have to follow your intuition and your emotional guidance system. That's what it's there
From a
for.
place of alignment. Yeah.
Yeah, don't have somebody else tell you, like feel into what they're saying. It could be
Well,
from,
that's another thing about authority again that I'm talking about. You go to a
yeah,
doctor, they're wearing the white coat, they have degrees, and
yeah,
they're
that's
telling you
it.
these things, and
Yeah,
we've heard of all these cases, so many cases where people were told they had X number of days to live, and they believed them, and so that was true for them. And then, but I think people are becoming more aware now because I've heard
yeah.
so many people not buying into it and going in, really going within, getting into effortless being, and then feeling good
Be
and
your own
getting out of the
doctor.
way where the body heals itself. And that happens
Yeah,
a lot
be
more
your own
now.
doctor, so to speak,
Yes.
is what we're
But
saying,
at the
but
same
still be
time,
responsible. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
use
yeah.
common sense.
Yeah.
I just feel
And
like even
only
like
you
even
know.
when I think of hospitals, when I think of hospitals, I'm like, is that really the hospital? Is the setup there really for healing? When I go to a hospital, I don't feel like it's set up to heal because there's always so
I
much chaos.
actually,
I want to go somewhere like that feels more, that contributes to health. Like I just feel like the hospitals, at least in the West, they just seem like it doesn't
But
have
you know
that
what?
energy. And that
I will
energy.
say this, I agree. I agree, but I will
Yeah.
say this. If I get in a car accident because I'm misaligned one day, I'm certainly glad they're there to
Oh
patch me
yeah, no,
up.
I'm definitely glad they're
You
there.
know what I'm
I was
saying?
just thinking,
But
is there a
I'm
better
more
way?
into,
Yeah, is there a
yeah,
better
yeah.
way to do to how we're doing it? Like, can we evolve? Can we make the
I
healing
think we
places
are,
we
right?
go? Yeah,
Isn't that what you're doing with effortless being and what we're doing here?
yeah, it's
When we're
true.
aligned and we check our emotional guidance system when we're off and we get back into alignment and we feel at ease, we won't get sick and it will be a non-issue.
That's
So
true.
that's what's beautiful
There you
about it.
go. You can avoid the whole
Yeah,
hospital by not even believing
yeah.
it.
We don't have to worry about all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
why even talk
You
about
don't
that?
even need to, yeah.
Let's just
You
talk
get what
about
I mean?
health. Yeah, like you said, if we
Yeah.
just talk about health and believe in health, then
Like I think a
does
lot of
sickness
people are
really have
struggling
room
with
to even
illness.
come in?
Yeah, but I do think people sometimes we do get misaligned, even the best of us, when we don't realize it. And, things happen in life, like,
We're still having
unwanted
the
things.
we're still having the human experience.
Yes,
No matter
yes. And so,
how much we know that, we're the infinite being or the effortless being, like there's that knowingness that we're that, but we're still living the human life, and that's okay. Everything's welcome
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Every experience, whether it's going to a
But don't you love
hospital
the
or
fact that we have hospitals for things like that? If we should get so misaligned at
definitely. Yeah, I've
some
used them
point,
many
we have
times.
that. And then we have the, you know, teachers like you that are teaching people how to be aligned with who they really are that won't get sick because they understand that,
Yeah.
but it's all there for all of us, which is so beautiful to me. And I feel like we all are, even at the Abraham stuff, you've got emergency nurses and doctors that work in the, ER
Yeah.
talking about how to handle people that are transitioning, and they love what they do, and they're, to me, that's not for me, but just
That's
seeing
okay.
the
Yeah.
diversity and the beauty in all of it,
Yeah.
it's
So
just, it's,
something there for everybody
yeah,
in every
it
situation. We
is.
could be thankful that we have all these things in place that we don't even have to think about it really. But like you said, we could be in that vibration or that energy of love and fun and joy, and we kind of sit there. But if other things come up, that's okay too. We have those other things in place, and
Mhm.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
safety or beautiful to know that.
And when I go to the whenever I go out anywhere, like the dentist, like I don't go I don't really, I'm healthy, so I don't really go to checkups or anything like that. But I go to the dentist, and when they see my age, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're not on anything." Oh, they're always shocked, and I'm like, the reverse should be true because we're thriving beings that are happy, and that's our natural state. But because
Definitely.
these doctors and these dentists are around so many people that are,
Yeah, they're
not
ingrained
doing
in that.
well, that
Yeah,
that becomes their reality, and they mean well by
they
trying
do.
to
Yeah,
talk to you and help you. But sometimes, it's just like, whoa, after a while, because when you're used to living that way, you're kind of like, wow, I guess I forgot this isn't the norm, which is kind of cool when you get to the point where it's your norm to be
yeah,
happy and happy. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
And that's
And
like
when
your
people are
default
shocked, you're
state.
like, what? This
Yeah,
is normal. What are you talking about?
this is the
you
norm,
know?
not that.
I know, but they don't know that because of their experiences, and maybe it will unfold. And I think more people that do take better care of themselves, the consciousness is changing. People are getting it. I mean, you think about what people were like when you look at pictures from like 50 years ago, what people look like at certain ages. People are taking better care of themselves now. A lot of them don't too, but I think that people are starting to believe that we can still thrive at any age.
Yeah,
And we don't have to diminish to die. We can just thrive until the day we die and decide, like the Buddhists. You hear that the Buddhist monks, they
yeah,
meditate themselves into the non-physical. I want to be that.
yeah.
Say goodbye to everybody and say, I'm done this time. I'm going to the next life, and meditate my way out.
The
So,
way to go
I
out.
find it interesting.
I want
Yeah.
to go out with a bottle of Jack Daniels.
But hey, that works too. You'll be very
That's the naughty
relaxed.
Rob coming out.
Can't be too good for too long.
No, I held off as long as I could. The true Rob comes out.
Hey, that's the fun part, right? The personality that you get to be, that's fun and playful. That's what it's all about, for
I love
fun.
it.
That's why
You know what I
we're
love about
here.
this? I could just like it says effortless. I could just express myself as I am and just say how I feel and whatever wants to come through and just let it flow and still be okay with the character Rob, other people might judge it or look at it a certain way, but oh well. This is
Well,
just
there's
who I
always
am.
gonna, I think there's a freedom in knowing that not everybody's gonna like you,
Yeah.
and that's okay
Being
because
okay
we're all
with it.
different.
Being okay
Yeah, and
with
be
it.
okay with it, and that's a part of it. Some people you resonate with and other people you don't, and that's
Yeah.
that's cool because there's
That's
enough
a
people.
healthy way of talking about health. If that's a healthy,
Yeah,
perspective to have, and that, the healthy perspectives we have an effect on our body. So what a beautiful way to think about things and have that perspective that you have. It's beautiful.
yeah, you too. And you just being playful and everything. I mean, sometimes we take life way too seriously,
Yeah.
and having fun and enjoying life right
Keep
now.
it light.
That's
Yeah.
it.
There's nothing serious
Yeah.
going on.
No, but I do love getting into the nitty gritty of the fun of creating because, I mean, what better way to create than your own life? I mean,
The
come on.
juiciness, right? The
Yeah,
juiciness.
you love that juiciness,
It's
don't you?
coming back. I'm starting to feel the juice. You got me all warmed up now. I'm feeling the juiciness. There's nothing like the
Uh,
juiciness of life.
yeah, yeah. Um, with health, when you have, do you coach people on health and nutrition and fitness and all that? Is that part of your work?
Yeah, it's just whatever wants to come up, like in the conversation, the mentorship. Mainly, it's about people, realizing their true nature and then looking to integrate that into their everyday life. And
Yeah,
then,
well, the
yeah,
integration part is a big
yeah,
part of that.
yeah, because
Yeah.
integrating that in the everyday life. So, that can like, and then that conversations come up about emotional intelligence. Listening to that. Letting not me telling them, or coaching them. It's almost like I'm just getting them to align with their internal guidance system and
The
letting that do it.
mirroring.
Yeah, mirroring them and seeing them as whole and complete and make sure they recognize what they truly are and then taking that into the everyday. They do that themselves, though. It's nothing I'm doing. I'm just putting them in touch, with that tool that they already have. They don't need me or anyone else. They have that emotional guidance system. So I just help them to get confident with that. And then that is what guides them. So they don't really need me once they realize that, or if somebody realizes they don't need it, need us to do that, if they
And
recognize it automatically.
how fortunate are we to be able to
Yeah.
coach people on our experiences to help them to align with what they want
It's
and
what they, yeah, it's what's already
there's
what's
nothing
inside them.
greater than that. It
Yeah,
just
I'm
makes
just
you
pointing it
so
out to
happy.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's an
And the
interesting
goal is
example.
to get them to be able to do it for themselves eventually.
Yes, yes. You
Yeah.
don't want
It's
people
not,
relying
yeah,
on
I
you.
love that.
There's no need for that. They're the sovereign being. They're the sovereign being themselves. They don't need us to do it. They
That's
have
what I
their own
love about
guidance
all of
system.
this.
Yep.
We all have our own internal guide and we all have our own inner being and we all have our own unique perspectives and desires and
Love
wants. And
that.
that's why when we get together and we co-create, it's so fun, because
Absolutely.
there's so much diversity. It's kind of like a well-stocked kitchen. You can make unlimited, unique recipes with that. And you can do that same thing with your life. I'm just amazed with just taking baby steps and enjoying it along the way, how much my body is capable of doing. I have so much respect for the spirit and the cells and the body and all of it, how it all works together when it's aligned. I mean, I was trying to do it with my brain and it wasn't working. But when you're whole and you do it, oh my gosh, just like magic. But you did it on purpose. That's what's so cool about it, you know?
Yes, conscious
It
creation.
gets better and better and better. And
Yes.
I am in the best shape of my life than I've ever been. So we can improve and get better. We don't need to diminish.
Love that.
That's another belief, like you said.
Yeah.
And I thank Abraham for that because the other way of going, not a fun trip. When
Hmm.
people believe that they're all trying to get insurance because they're scripting that they're going to need it in the future, because they're going to diminish and they're afraid. And my heart goes out to them and they didn't even question the belief at all.
Yeah.
I
So
feel like
all we're
I'm
doing
so
is just
fortunate.
asking people just to question their beliefs. If they're not serving you, drop them. What are
Exactly.
you identifying with? What's your life like? Are you feeling light
And
and
if somebody if somebody is okay with diminishing through time and they want to get the insurance, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a choice.
Yep.
We all get to choose.
Yeah. This
Not
is cool.
everybody wants the same thing. And in the East, I hear that people want to look older because they're considered wise and they're
Yeah.
lifted up.
There's that
So
belief.
here, it's different.
Yeah. It's all
So
okay.
we all get to
Everything's
choose.
welcome. Everything is consciousness.
I
So it's
know.
all good.
When you sit in this place and you see people, you just fall in love with everybody because you just see
Yes,
how
that's what it is. It's
beautiful
all
and how
about
lovely
love,
it is.
falling in love with it.
Yeah,
Unconditional
yeah,
love. Well, this
yeah.
feels complete. This sounds like a good place to stop, unless there's something else that you wanted to bring out.
No, and I just think that I love the fact that we're creators from being who we really are and marrying the two and just having a joyous journey. It's just beautiful.
Love that. That's beautiful. Well, we'll end right there. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time on
Okay,
Effortless
bye-bye.
Conversations. Bye now.